In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
Picture this, a former 6th overall draft pick, once the queen of Stanford basketball, sitting at the end of the bench watching players with half her talent steal her minutes. Lexie Hull was on the verge of becoming another cautionary tale about wasted potential until one rookie changed everything. What happened next would flip her entire career upside down and expose the shocking truth about how quickly fortunes can change in professional sports.
So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit of everything.
Hull's fall from grace was brutal to witness. Here was a player who dominated college basketball, lifting trophies and carrying herself like a future WNBA cornerstone. Yet under former coach Christy Sides, she found herself collecting splinters instead of meaningful playing time. The mental torture was real. Watching role players leapfrog you in the rotation while you're supposed to be a foundational piece of the franchise. Fans started whispering the question that every struggling lottery pick dreads: was she destined to be just another draft bust?
I think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams.
She's been called the clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick. I'm talking about professional basketball player Lexie Hull.
The psychological warfare of professional sports hit Hull hard, going from being the best player on every team she'd ever played for to struggling for garbage time. Minutes in the WNBA created a mental hurdle steeper than any physical challenge she'd faced. Every practice became a reminder of how far she'd fallen, every DNP another nail in the coffin of her confidence. The basketball world is ruthless, and Hull was learning that talent alone doesn't guarantee success at the highest level.
At the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work so that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying the course.
Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever were experiencing their own nightmare scenario. The team stumbled to a disastrous 1-8 start that had fans in Indianapolis begging for answers that weren't coming. Headlines screamed about poor rotations, leaky defense, and zero chemistry. The entire organization looked like it was imploding, and Hull Meidel, stuck on the sideline, had to fight her own demons while watching the ship sink around her. The pressure was suffocating everyone in that locker room.
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player likely from their high school team. So it's just this mishmash of the best basketball players, and then you're playing against people that have been there for years and years.
Then came the earthquake that would change everything. When Caitlin Clark walked into Indiana, she didn't just adjust the Fever's lineup, she rewrote the DNA of the entire franchise. Her arrival was like flipping a switch in a dark room. Practices that once dragged suddenly had electricity. Players who had been sleepwalking through drills were now engaged in full-scale wars during scrimmages. Clark's competitive fire wasn't just impressive, it was contagious.
We were just sick that we had lost so many games, and also feeling like we were better than that. Part of my role is just getting to the open spots, and we have such a good offense that people find the open person. So to be that open person, you get excited. You get excited for the opportunity to shoot and score and be part of the momentum.
But what truly separated Clark wasn't just her scoring ability or her star power. It was her basketball IQ operating on a completely different frequency. Hull suddenly found herself getting passes she never expected, finding openings that materialized out of thin air. Clark's court vision was like having a quarterback who could thread passes through windows that teammates didn't even know existed. For Hull, this was a revelation that completely transformed how she approached the game.
What is it like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston?
I mean, they make my job really easy, right? It's awesome. And it's really cool to see all of them just grow, not only from this year, but playing 3 years with Kelsey, 2 years with Aaliyah. They're so impressive. And I think it's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding, those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to get to play with them.
The real magic happened behind closed doors, away from cameras and crowd noise. During the Olympic break, while fans were focused on the international tournament, the Fever were grinding in practice sessions that became legendary within the organization. Coaches started posting daily shooting percentages from drills and scrimmages, creating a competitive environment that pushed everyone to improve. Hull thrived in this data-driven approach, watching her numbers climb and feeling her confidence return.
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So now it's okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, it's been awesome.
Those shooting percentages told a story that couldn't be argued with. Hull's efficiency skyrocketed as she found her rhythm, turning those precious few shot attempts into high-percentage looks. The pressure of having limited opportunities had initially worked against her. When you only get 1 or 2 threes per game, every miss feels magnified. But with increased opportunities and Clark's gravity pulling defenders away, Hull's true shooting ability finally had room to flourish.
It's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much more worthwhile. She sees the game at a bigger scale, obviously with the platform that she's created for herself, and then that's transitioned to the game. It's huge. And I think for me, especially as a point guard and as someone that's delivering a lot of the passes that lead to shots, if I miss, she's definitely going to say you got the next one. I can count on her for keeping me confident and positive. So yeah, I think that shows the player that she is and the leader she is as a point guard.
The spotlight that came with Clark's arrival created its own unique challenges. Hull went from being anonymous in Indianapolis to getting fist bumps at grocery stores and autograph requests during simple errands. Social media became both a blessing and a curse, with every performance dissected by thousands of fans online. The pressure was intense, but Hull learned to lean on her support system to stay focused on what mattered, winning games and continuing her development.
It's really awesome to get to know her as well because, she's a great person, but you have all these expectations put on her and our team has put on her and fans have put on her. So to see her kind of be so mature in that transition, it's been really awesome. And I'm just really proud to, have her on the team, and it's been exciting.
The Indiana Fever had a history-making year. What was that like for you to be a part of that?
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to not only play in the WNBA, but to be on a team like the Indiana Fever. I've seen so much growth, not only on the team side, how we're performing on the court, but also the growth in fans. On the road, it felt like home games. We're playing in sold out arenas that we have not played in the last 2 years before that. So, it's just really exciting.
Off the court, the team's chemistry became legendary in ways that fans rarely see. Hull and teammate Erica Wheeler started a pre-game tradition of swapping outfits despite their drastically different styles, creating lighthearted moments that kept the locker room loose. These seemingly small gestures were actually crucial in building the trust and camaraderie that would carry them through difficult stretches. When teams face adversity, it's often these bonds that determine whether they crumble or fight back.
All of it comes down to trusting the process, and part of that process is making sure that the work's getting done. I think one thing that our coaches did during that break, we had a full month of practice pretty much during the Olympic break, and they would put up every day after practice our shooting percentages from 2s and 3s during drills, during scrimmages, during everything. And I think that helped me because, some people will probably it's so annoying, whatever, but I personally liked it.
The transformation became impossible to ignore once results started showing on the court. Arenas that had been half empty were suddenly packed wall to wall with fans desperate to see this new-look Fever squad. Road games began feeling like home games as Clark's popularity drew massive crowds everywhere they played. Hull found herself part of something much bigger than just a basketball team. They were creating a cultural phenomenon that was reshaping the entire WNBA landscape.
Numbers don't lie, unfortunately, and they're very drastic. My first 2 years, I was just so upset because I was putting in so much work, and my shooting percentages, I would granted get like 1 or 2 at the max threes a game. So it's hard to be super efficient when the pressure is really on for those couple shots. But the numbers don't lie. So it really allows you to look at improvements and really shoot for goals and keep yourself like accountable. All of these people were supporting me this whole time, and I didn't know that they were supporting me until that moment. So like you kind of forget that there's these people behind the scenes until they come out of the woodwork and say like, I've been following along this whole time. Like, I'm so proud of you. And that just feels so good to know that there's, such a community behind everybody on our team, even when you don't hear it every day.
As the season progressed, Hull's emergence as a clutch performer in crucial moments became one of the most underrated storylines of the Fever's rise. Her ability to knock down big shots when the team needed them most proved that all those hours in the gym during her darkest moments had been worth it. The 6th overall pick, who had been written off, was now a key contributor on a team that went from laughingstock to legitimate playoff contender in a single season.
And you and Erica Wheeler started swapping outfits, so where did that idea come from?
Our styles are so drastically different. So we were just joking, like, I wonder what it would look like if you could pull it off. And the first outfit was something so outside of what I would have ever picked out of my closet. And they're like, that's not going to look good on me. I'm like, all right, let's try. So then I tried it on and everyone was like, you pull it off, you pull it off. So then it just became part of the pregame tradition. And it's a really fun, lighthearted way to just, get us in the mood to play. Walking through the grocery store in Indianapolis and like trying to just go get some groceries and someone fist bumps me and says, go Fever. Like, that's just a really cool environment. And it shows, the dedication of the fans and the fandom in the city. So that part's been awesome.
Hull's perspective on what this transformation means for the future of the WNBA reveals just how significant this season was. She sees a league that's becoming more competitive and attracting better coaching talent, creating opportunities for players who might have been overlooked in previous eras. The ripple effect of having stars like Clark in the league extends far beyond individual teams. It's elevating the entire sport and creating new possibilities for everyone involved.
Pros, it's pretty obvious. We have people filling the stands. We have people cheering. We have people so excited for the individual success of the teams, but also the league as well as players. So there's so many more eyes on the game. And it's hard. Like, it's easy to say, like, yeah, don't read it. But everybody does a little bit. And I think it's having like that support system to help keep you on track. The biggest thing is finding people to kind of get you out of that cycle and get you to thinking about the positive things you did, even though a lot of times people online aren't talking about the positive things.
The story of Lexie Hull's resurrection isn't just about one player finding her way back from the brink of obscurity. It's about the power of the right teammate, the right system, and the right moment colliding to create something magical. Clark didn't just save Hull's career. She showed what's possible when generational talent meets opportunity and hard work. The question now isn't whether Hulls can maintain this level of play, but how much higher this partnership can soar.
The fact that people are talking about the WNBA, people are tuning in to our games, that's what we want to hear, and that's only going to get us farther as we go on. I think it's moving in a good direction. I think that it's because it's more competitive and there's more eyes on it. The pool of coaches that we can choose from, I think, will only get bigger and bigger. I think we're going to have great coaches coming up, and just excited to see, what those eras look like. Like, it's unpredictable at this point, but excited to, talk about it in a year from now.
What started as a potential cautionary tale about wasted draft picks has become one of the most inspiring comeback stories in recent WNBA history. Hull's journey from benchwarmer to key contributor proves that careers can be completely transformed when the right elements align. With Clark leading the charge and Hull thriving in her new role, the Indiana Fever aren't just contenders anymore. They're a dynasty in the making, and this is only the beginning of what promises to be an incredible ride.